Class. I'm going to read you a book actually today, and I'm going to read you a couple of chapters every day. The book is called Wonder and it's by R.J. Palacio. Some of you might have heard of it, or there's a film that you might have seen, but if you have a copy at home then you can always get it out and read along as well. Chapter 1. Ordinary. I know I'm not an ordinary 10-year-old kid. I mean, sure, I do ordinary things. I eat ice cream, I ride my bike, I play ball, I have an Xbox. Stuff that makes me ordinary, I guess. And I feel ordinary inside. But I know ordinary kids don't make other ordinary kids run away screaming in playgrounds. I know ordinary kids don't get stared at wherever they go. If I found a magic lamp and I could have one wish, I would wish that I had a normal face that no one ever noticed at all. I would wish that I could walk down the street without people seeing me and then doing that thing where they look away. Here's what I think. The only reason I'm not ordinary is that no one else sees me in that way. But I'm kind of used to the way I look now. I know how to pretend I don't see the faces that people make. We've all gotten pretty good at that sort of thing. Me, Mum, Dad, Via. Actually, I take that back. Via's not so good at it. She can get really annoyed when people do something rude. Like, for instance, one time in the playground, some older kids made some noises. I don't even know what the noises were exactly, because I didn't hear them myself. But Via heard, and she just started yelling at the kids. That's just the way she is. I'm not that way. Via doesn't see me as ordinary. She says she does. But if I were ordinary, she wouldn't feel like she needs to protect me as much. And Mum and Dad, they don't see me as ordinary either. They see me as extraordinary. I think the only person in the world who realises how ordinary I am is me. My name is August, by the way. I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking is probably worse. Chapter 2. Why didn't I go to school? Next week I start 5th grade. Since I've never been to real school before, I'm pretty much totally and completely petrified. People think I haven't gone to school because of the way I look, but it's not that. It's because of all the surgeries I've had. 27 since I was born. The bigger ones happened before I was even 4 years old, so I don't remember those. But I've had 2 or 3 surgeries every year since then. Some big, some small. And because I'm quite little for my age, I have other medical mysteries that doctors never really figured out. I used to get sick a lot. That's when my parents decided it was better that I didn't go to school. I'm much stronger now, though. It was better I didn't go to school. The last surgery I had was 8 months ago, and I probably won't have to have any more for another couple of years. Mum homeschools me. She used to be a children's book illustrator. She draws really great fairies and mermaids. Her boy stuff isn't so hot, though. She once tried to draw me a Darth Vader, but it ended up looking like some weird mushroom-shaped robot. I haven't seen her draw anything in a long time. I think she's too busy now, taking care of me and Via. I can't say I always wanted to go to school, because that wouldn't be exactly true. What I wanted was to go to school, but only if I was like every other kid going to school. Have lots of friends, hang out after school and stuff like that. I have a few really good friends now. Christopher is my best friend, followed by Zachary and Alex. We've known each other all since we were babies, and since they've always known the way I am, they're used to me now. When we were little, we used to have playdates all the time, but then Christopher moved to Bridgeport in Connecticut, and that's more than an hour from where I live in North River Heights, which is at the top of Manhattan. And Zachary and Alex started going to school. It's funny, even though Christopher's the one who moved far away, I see him more than I see Zach and Alex. They've all these new friends now. If we bump into each other in the street, they're still nice to me though. They always say hello. I have other friends too, but not as good as Christopher, Zach and Alex were. For instance, Zach and Alex always invited me to their birthday parties when we were little. But Joel, Eamon and Gabe never did that. Emma invited me once, but I haven't seen her in a long time. And of course, I always go to Christopher's birthday. Maybe I'm making too big a deal about birthday parties. How I came to life. I like when Mum tells the story because it makes me laugh so much. It's not funny in a joke funny, but when Mum tells it, Via and I just start cracking up. So when I was in my mum's stomach, no one had any idea I would come out looking the way I did. Mum had Via 4 years before, and that had been such a walk in the park, Mum's expression, that there was no reason for any special tests. About 2 months, though, before I was born, the doctors realised that there was something wrong with my face. They didn't think it was going to be bad. They told Mum and Dad that I had a cleft palate and some other stuff going on too. They called it small anomalies. There were 2 nurses in the delivery room the night I was born. One was very nice and sweet. The other one, Mum said, didn't seem sweet or nice. She had very big arms. Here comes the funny part. She kept farting, like she'd bring Mum some ice chips and then fart. She'd check Mum's blood pressure and fart. Mum said it was unbelievable because none of the nurses even said, "Excuse me, please." Meanwhile, Mum's regular doctor wasn't on duty that night, so Mum got stuck with this cranky kid doctor she and Dad nicknamed Doogie after some TV show or something. They didn't officially call him that to his face, obviously. But Mum says that even though everyone in the room was kind of grumpy, Dad kept making her laugh all night long. When I came out of Mum's stomach, she said the whole room got very quiet. Mum didn't even get the chance to look at me because the nice nurse immediately rushed me out of the room. Dad was in such a hurry to follow that he dropped the video camera, which broke into a million pieces. And then Mum got upset and tried to get out of bed to see what they were doing, and the farty nurse put her big arms on Mum to keep her on the bed. They were practically fighting because Mum was hysterical and the farting nurse was telling her to stay calm. Then they both started screaming for the doctor. But guess what? He had fainted right on the floor. So when the farting nurse saw that he'd fainted, she started pushing him with her foot to get him to wake up, telling him the whole time, "What kind of doctor are you? What kind of doctor are you? Get up, get up." Then all of a sudden, she let out the biggest, loudest, smelliest fart in the history of farts. Mum thinks it was all actually the fart that finally woke the doctor up. Anyway, when Mum tells this story, she acts out all the parts, including the farting nurse, and so. It's funny. Mum says the farting nurse turned out to be a very nice woman. She stayed with Mum the whole time, didn't leave her side, even after Dad come back and the doctors told him how sick I was. Mum remembers exactly what the nurse whispered in her ear when the doctor told her I probably wouldn't live through the night. Everyone born of God overcomes the world. And the next day after, I had lived through the night. It was that nurse who held Mum's hand when they brought me to meet her for the first time. Mum says by then they had told her all about me. She'd been preparing herself for seeing me. But she said that when she looked down into my tiny mushed up face for the first time, all she could see was how pretty my eyes were. Mum is beautiful, by the way, and Dad is handsome. Via is pretty too, in case you were wondering. Okay, the final chapter we're going to read, Christopher's house. I was really bummed when Christopher moved away 3 years ago. We were both around 7 then. We used to spend hours playing with our Star Wars action figures and dueling with lightsabers. Miss that. Last spring, we drove over to Christopher's house in Bridgeport. Me and Christopher were looking for snacks in the kitchen, and I heard Mum talking to Lisa, Christopher's mum, about going to school in the fall. I'd never heard her mention school before. "What are you talking about?" I said. Mum looked surprised, like she hadn't meant for me to hear. "You should tell him what you've been thinking, Isabel," Dad said. He was on the other side of the living room, talking to Christopher's dad. "We should talk about it later," said Mum. "No, I want to know what you were talking about," I answered. "Don't you feel ready for school, Augie?" Mum said. "No," I said. "I don't either," said Dad. "Then that's it, case closed," I said, shrugging. I sat in her lap like I was a baby. "I just think that you need to learn more than I can teach you," Mum said. "I mean, come on, Augie. You know how bad I am at fractions." "Well, what school?" I said, already feeling like crying. "Bircher Prep, right by us." "Oh, wow, that's a great school, Augie," said Lisa, patting my knee. "Why not Via's school?" I said. "That's too big," Mum answered. "I don't think it'd be a good fit for you." "I don't want to," I said. I admit I made my voice sound a little bit babyish. "You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do," Dad said, coming over and lifting me out of Mum's lap. He carried me over to sit on his lap on the other side of the sofa. "We won't make you do anything you don't want to." "But it'd be good for him, Nate," Mum said. "Not if he really doesn't want to," answered Dad, looking at me. "Not if he's not ready." I saw Mum look at Lisa, who reached over and squeezed her hand. "You guys will figure it out," she said to Mum. "You always have. Let's just talk about it later, said Mum. I could tell that she and Dad were going to have a fight about it. I wanted Dad to win the fight, though part of me knew that Mum was right, and that the truth is, she really was terrible at fractions. So the next chapter, which we'll read tomorrow, is called Driving. If you want to read ahead at home, please do. And it's really nice to see you all, Rio class. I'll speak to you tomorrow.